Hello everybody and welcome to my comic review. Today I am going to be reviewing the Eternal Warrior #1, which came out this past Wednesday. Now, like I said in my comic time from this past week, I picked this up purely based on the fact that it was the first issue of a series. I had no intentions of going to my comic store and buying it that day. In fact, I didn't even know that it came out, and I really had no idea that my comic store was going to carry it because it's not really something that they would typically carry, but they carried it and I picked it up. And I don't know, I was pleasantly surprised. I have some complaints. I don't know exactly how I feel about this comic. Maybe by the end I can give it a final judgment, but it has its strong points and its weak points in my opinion, so I'll just get into the review. A brief sort of synopsis of what you will be reading. The Eternal Warrior is the guy that is on the front here. His name is, I'm going to call him Glod. It could be Glad or some other. He's in Mesopotamia, and I don't know, I'm not good at pronouncing names all the time, so I'm just gonna call him Glod. He is an eternal warrior for his tribe. He's sort of immortal. He can't die. He has two children. He has Mitu, who is his son, and then he has Zarin, who is his daughter, and they are in the beginning, it's sort of like they're going into battle, him and his son. He's sort of trying to give his son pointers, and his daughter comes up. She's like, no, I'm going to go too. And he's like, no, Zarin, you have to stay here. You know, you have no place. You have to stay with the women and children. In the beginning, it almost sort of reminded me of like a Mulan type of role because, you know, if you guys have ever seen like Disney's Mulan, it's like, you know, she wasn't allowed to fight and she still did because, you know, it's just her way and whatnot. And this is sort of what happens. Like, you know, the father and the brother are out there doing, you know, fighting their battle, and she just comes in on this huge elephant and just crushes everything and says, no, I'm going to be part of this. The only thing is she sort of, you know, once the battle's over and all the bad guys, I guess, are taken care of, she wants to continue on. She wants to go to the village where they all live, you know, get rid of even the innocent people. Be like, no, because this is going to start again. We're going to get rid of everybody. We're going to get rid of the women, the children, all of the innocents, because that's just what we do. She's almost kind of like Thanos in a way. She just has to have, everything has to be dead. Like, she has to be the ruler of all in a way. She ends up even killing her own brother who tries to stop her. And her father just kind of, you know, you've disgraced us all, and he just sort of goes away. Kind of flash forwards then to, you know, the future, and he is living in Africa. He has taken a very simpler life. He's sort of, I guess, retired from being a warrior. He has a dog. He just lives in this little house thing, and he just hunts for food, and you know, it's just a simple man. And then it ends with her coming back and being like, Father, we must, you know, team up again and, you know, go take care of, you know, this problem that is, you know, in the faraway land. And that's sort of how it ends, is them, you know, he's kind of confused, like, why have you come back from me after all these years? Like, it's been a long time, like 6 centuries, I believe is what she says, how long it's been, because she, I guess, is also eternal. He kind of learns this whenever she comes back. So, well, his son unfortunately wasn't, and he actually ends up naming his dog that he has with him Mitu, because, you know, he was very distraught over the loss of his son. But that's sort of what happens. It ends with, you know, them going to wherever this problem is that needs his attention, that needs 2 eternal warriors instead of just 1. So I don't know, I think it'll be interesting to see where it goes. It is, you know, it's not the best storyline that I've ever heard, but it is interesting. You know, you sort of have this female who has no compassion for anybody, it seems, and just, you know, wants, I don't even know exactly what she wants. It's like, as long as she's okay and she's surviving and like her people are surviving, that's all that matters. But I feel like she would turn on her people in an instant if it meant that, like, she would continue to survive even though she's eternal. I don't know, she's really hard to read. Like, sometimes you have compassion for her and sometimes you don't. I started off really, really liking her, and then I was like, what is going on? Like, this person is crazy. But I don't know, I felt for the father for sure, and I think that, I don't know, I think there will be two things going on forward in this comic. It's, you know, them battling whatever they have to deal with, but then it's also going to be like a father-daughter relationship that sort of crumbled. It's going to be like rebuilding that, which isn't something that you necessarily see in comic books often. So it'll be interesting to see if that is something, you know, that's coming through. I liked the artwork in this. It's, I don't know, it's like the kind of stuff that I like, but I'm weird. Like, I don't know, you have like this kind of stuff, and then like over here, I think you guys can see that. Like, I don't know, I like it. For this type of comic, this is kind of artwork that I would expect. Some of the things that I didn't like, and this is just something like most people wouldn't pick up on it, and it's probably something either the author didn't think about or he didn't think anyone would notice. And I'm just weird and overanalyze things, and I noticed there is a line in the beginning. It's from, I believe it's from Zaren's, yeah, it's Zaren's, like, thoughts, you know, besides the dialogue, you have just, like, the thought boxes, and it's her thoughts that are going through, and she says a line of, you know, mowing them over like rabbits, and if this is, like, one, that makes me sad because, you know, I have bunnies, and it makes me sad to think of bunnies dying, but I didn't like it mostly because, you know, this is like warrior times in Mesopotamia, so lawnmowers weren't invented, so she wouldn't, I don't know, I feel like this phrase is not something that would have been used in this time period, which, you know, obviously they're not going to use everything that's in the time period, but that's just one thing that I just kind of thought about, like, oh, that's not something that I think would be said. I felt like they could have, you know, phrased it in a different way to get the same point across. But, you know, I'm not going to dwell on it. I'm not going to hate on it because of that. But, I don't know, it was something that bothered me. I will say the one thing that I liked about this is that it is the very first issue. And I feel like for it being a very first issue, they covered so many things. Like, it's not the typical first issue where you're introduced to the characters, you know where they are, and that's it. You have, like, an incredible backstory that it gives you, and then, you know, you know going in what the second issue, like, you already have in your mind what it's going to be about because they've basically told you, like, this is what they're going to be doing in the next issue. And I think that's fantastic. Like, that's not something that I normally see with the first issue. Usually with the first issue, I'm just like, well, I'm gonna be reading the second one just to figure out if I like it or not. You know, the first one gave me bare minimum of knowledge of what I need to know about this comic, and usually the first issue is something that if you don't start reading on the first issue, you won't be that confused. And I feel like, I haven't read the second issue obviously, but I feel like you need to read the first issue if you're going to read the second one, which isn't something that you necessarily always have in comics. So I really liked that aspect. So overall, I don't know, I think it's going to be a good series. I don't think it's going to be fantastic, but I think it could last, you know, a little while, depending on sales and just what the writer has to say about it. So I would suggest picking it up if it sounds like it's something you would be interested in. If not, that's fine. Like, I could totally understand that. But I don't know, I thought it was interesting. So that's my opinion on the Eternal Warrior #1. I don't know, go pick it up, and if you do, or if you've already read it, let me know what you think in the comment section below. So that is all I have for this review. I will see you guys next time. Bye!